Should the U.S. Congress be allowed to buy stocks? There's a policy making its way through Washington as we speak. Congress may soon be barred from trading stocks, starting with lawmakers and possibly the president. The legislation, commonly referred to as the Honest Act or earlier the Pelosi Act, seeks to prohibit members of Congress, their spouses, and potentially the president and vice president from owning or trading stocks. This ban would include stocks, bonds, commodities, futures, cryptocurrencies, and other securities, with certain exemptions for diversified funds and government bonds.
The bill would prevent lawmakers and future presidents and vice presidents from trading stocks has advanced in the Senate, while President Trump criticized a key Republican supporting the measure. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, who introduced the ban, was the only Republican to join Senate Democrats in voting to advance this bill, sending it out of committee and to a possible vote by the full Senate.
The bill would immediately bar new purchases by sitting lawmakers, the president, and the vice president upon enactment. Current office holders would have 180 days to sell prohibited holdings after the law takes effect, and there's a March 31st, 2027 implementation timeline. A full divestiture requirement by that date for officials and their families, with fines up to 10% of the value or 1 month's salary per violation. The bill also bans former office holders from purchasing stock until 90 days after leaving office. Who would be affected? Both House and Senate members, spouses and dependent children, and executive officials. The president, vice president, and their families are included in the expanded version. The divestiture clause does not apply to the sitting executive until after their term. Recent polls are showing extreme bipartisan support, with 87% of Republicans in favor of prohibiting the president, vice president, and Supreme Court justices from trading stocks. 90% of Democrats voted in favor as well, and 82% of independents. As far as the rest of Congress, 87% of Republicans voted against it, along with 88% of Democrats and 81% of independents. So it looks like the vote is unanimous. Americans do not want Congress people buying stocks.
In this short time period between Election Day and Inauguration Day, Nancy and Paul Pelosi made a whopping $38 million in stock trades. The question now is how and why? Now, obviously, Paul Pelosi doesn't serve on Capitol Hill because he's married to former Speaker Nancy Pelosi. They're required to disclose their collective stock trades. And Paul, on December 31st, 2024, he sold $24 million worth of Apple stock. And on the same day, he also sold $5 million worth of artificial intelligence computer chip maker NVIDIA. Stock was 138, so Pelosi sells $5 million worth of stock. Today, less than a month later, it's closed at 118, a 13% drop since Pelosi unloaded.
The current legislative status, as of late July 2025, the bill passed Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee in an 8-7 vote, with bipartisan support led by Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri and Senator Gary Peters of Michigan. The legislation gained traction despite resistance from some Republicans who objected to expanding restrictions to the executive branch. The bill responds to longstanding concern over conflicts of interest, including past allegations of insider trading by members of Congress. It builds on the Stock Act of 2012, which increased disclosure requirements but did not prohibit trading or ownership outright. There are going to be transparency enhancements. The bill also mandates a publicly searchable database of lawmakers' financial holdings, but timing of the final passage of the bill remains unclear. It awaits a vote by the full Senate and requires congressional consensus to become law. Let me know your thoughts.